What I've been challenging everybody to do, and what everybody's been challenging each other to do, is live in the mindset of whatever it is, we will make it happen.
Welcome to the Council of Dudes podcast. I'm your host, Vinny Brusco. I am a father, a husband, the founder of Agora Social Club, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a certified life coach, and a facilitator of the Council of Dudes men's group. This podcast is here to help you tap into and follow your golden thread, that feeling that pulls you forward to become the best version of yourself. If you're someone who's into personal development and self-help and is looking to live a life of more alignment, then this is the podcast for you. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification button, and follow along on the journey of the show.
This is Ari Kwitkin-Close. I'm here with Westchester Soccer Club, and I'm the Director of Community Outreach and Partnerships for the club. Our home opener is March 7th. Hope to see you out there at Memorial Field at 7 p.m. And I'm here with Vinny on the Council of Dudes podcast.
And here we go.
Cicadas take me to two places. One, being a kid, like, you know those afternoon hot summer day cicadas, like that noise. So one hot summer day afternoon on my street, like hanging out in front of my house. And then two, I worked with a locksmith. I was an apprentice to a locksmith for like a summer in college. And it always just takes me to working with him for some reason. Like, I guess it's like hot summer days.
That'll do it.
Yeah, but there's something to them that just, I like that noise.
Peaceful.
They're gross as fuck.
Never get too close. Just listen.
Just sink in the noise. They're so gross, and they're crunch. I mean, they're really disgusting.
Yeah.
Stay away. Yeah, they have the big wings and shit, but the sound is beautiful. I don't know. I enjoy the sound. First of all, thanks for doing this.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. We've been talking about it for a little while now. And when we first met, which we met through Hugo at Gentleman's Lab and Home Thesis, we had coffee here, and I walked away, and I was like, what an impressive individual. And how you're what, 20?
25.
Okay, 20. I was going to say 28. Okay. So you're younger than even I thought you were. And we were just talking about things, and you were talking about your experience and the jobs you've had. And I really walked away. I was like, wow, like this kid, because I'm your senior quite a bit, but I'm like, this dude's so impressive.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It really, like, genuinely, and then we hit it off obviously pretty well, I'd say. And obviously with Agora and Westchester Soccer Club, we're doing some collaboration stuff. But yeah, man, I walked away just so, like, proud and impressed by who you are as a person. So you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. And the feeling's mutual. There's people in life, I think anyway, that you meet them and instantly you realize, okay, these are my people.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with you. So the
yeah,
feeling is very much mutual.
When, like, was this something that was like from a kid? Like, was this like how it was in the household? Were your parents like this type of go-getters? I mean, so let's just clarify what you do for the team.
Sure. So right now what I'm doing for the team is I was brought in to oversee community outreach and oversee our relationships with all of our sponsors. So we were brand spanking new when I joined. We had one sponsor on board. It was Northwell. We had, I think, 10 season ticket members, and we had no players signed yet. And our season started in 3 months.
Which is very unheard of. Like, there's no roster. There's really nothing there.
Right. And
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like the fastest up and running from like origin idea to actually players in the field
ever. And that's what drew me to this. I mean, there was, well, we'll talk about it. I came from the NFL side. People ask me all the time, are you insane? You went from the NFL world to USL League One, and you went to the third tier of pro soccer in the US. What were you thinking? And very similar to what I said to you earlier, you find your people in life, you gravitate towards said people. And that's how I felt about the ownership group of Westchester Soccer, the mission and vision of what it was they were trying to build. And for me, the entrepreneurial side of things, I gravitate towards it. Being able to build from the ground up and truly leave a mark on this county, on pro soccer, and everything that's happening in the U.S. right now with soccer, the World Cup coming to town, the opportunity is, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So being able to play even just a small role in that has been a blast. So what I do now is I oversee most of the revenue side of the operation, and as well as the outreach side, and kind of being the face of the club to the public.
Yeah, and you do a great job of it, and you're out everywhere. You're always making these connections, but to the point of where I want to go back to the idea of people saying, "Are you crazy?" Because you're in the NFL, or you worked for the Redskins, right, at that time.
Yep.
And you would think that you get into this role, it's like the NFL, right? You've reached the pinnacle of what you want to do. Even if you're in the office in some capacity, maybe not to what you want to be doing, you're in the building of an NFL team. And for a lot of people, that alone is like, I'm good, I'll stay here. So how did the Westchester Soccer Club thing come up? And then what was that internal dialogue that you were having with yourself? Because I'm sure it had to just be like, fuck. Yeah.
Great question, man. So for me, I had no plans of leaving. When I first heard about Westchester Soccer Club, it came from an old professor of mine. I went to UMass Amherst, the state school for Massachusetts, majored in sport management, loved it. And a professor that I had done some work with, we formed a sport sales class together during my senior year that's getting taught now. But she reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I know you're happy in Washington. I know things are going well. That being said,
let me disrupt your entire world."
Right.
Yeah.
Let me put this on your radar. There's an investor in Westchester Soccer Club that is a professor of practice in the UMass Department of Sport. He's done amazing things. Take the call. And I went into said phone call with the thought process of, I respect this guy to another level. His name's Jeffrey Pollack. He was the CEO of the XFL when Dwayne Johnson was running the show over there. Did a lot of work across sports and properties and brokered some of the biggest deals in sports. I knew of him for a long time. So my thought process was, let me get on the phone with him. At the very least, let me make sure I create a great connection, and I'll probably end up saying thank you so much, but no thank you. I get on the call, and about 20 minutes later, it went from him selling me on why I should be moving to Westchester to me selling him on why I was the guy for the job for him. And
now, is that his skill set of what he does, or was it just the organic transition of your perspective?
Transition of perspective. And it's a great question, because for me, I didn't know what the USL was. I didn't know much about the US soccer space. And to your point before, in my eyes, I wouldn't say I had made it, but I was in the space I wanted to be. To me, working for the MLB or the NFL, that was the dream. I was a huge football and baseball guy growing up, and being able to say a stadium is my office. I would look out the window and see the field and walk by Terry McLaurin in the halls. Like, that doesn't get old, ever. I mean, the internal fan in me screaming all the time. But at the same time, it's not, hey, Terry, let me get a picture with you. Let me get your autograph. He's my coworker. It's, hey, good luck today, man. Go get it. And that's it.
Yeah, I could relate to that, because early in my radio days, when I was on the street team, it was K-Rock.
Yep.
And it was like Howard Stern, and I'm a huge Artie Lang fan. Dirty Work is probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. And then Opie and Anthony. So you'd see these people, Patrice O'Neill, like you'd bump into like comics and Howard Stern, and and even the other radio DJs that were on at the time. New York had a very big, alternative rock, space. It occupied that space pretty well, and these DJs were pretty well known. So you'd like kind of bump into Kane and Cabby, and you'd see these guys. And there's like a part that is like, for me as a radio nerd, I'm like, fucking hey, man, like you want to geek out a little bit with them, but you do. Like, I remember I bumped into Patrice O'Neill on the elevator. He's like, oh, Peacoats, huh? I got a Peacoat. And I was like, yeah. And he just like started busting my chops. And I'm like, it's like one of the funniest comics ever. And you want to geek out, but you have to hold this level of like, we're at work, whatever that looks like. Even though I'm handing out fucking t-shirts at a bar, we're still in this atmosphere. So I have to kind of play it cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was definitely the case in Washington. And that was hard to leave.
Yeah.
For sure. And what really drew me to this role in Westchester was the entrepreneurial side, being able to build from the ground up, and honestly vaulting my career at a ridiculous rate. And in Washington, would not trade my time for the world, but I was a very small piece in a very large machine.
Right. That was, I think that's where I was going with this, that you're there, you're in the stadium, your view of the office is the field, but it's like, how much more am I mean, potential's endless for sure. We know that. But at the same time, it's like there also is this glass ceiling effect that has to come into play at some juncture of this career.
100%. And here, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I don't have as many resources
Right. You know,
in the slightest.
right. Sure.
But at the same time, I have a real stamp that I can put on this thing and a real impact that I can make with the community. And when I have someone that comes to me and says, hey, can we do this? Can we make this work? It's as simple as saying yes and making it happen. So that's a beautiful thing. And seeing the impact and seeing the Westchester community come around and rally behind this team so quickly. And on a Wednesday night, seeing over 3,000 people rocking the stands and cheering all together when one of our players scores a banger of a goal, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah. When you are presented with those ideas and you're like, yeah, let's make it happen. A lot of people, myself included, I've learned to pivot and I've learned to just, okay, we're going to figure this out, right? Like saying we'll figure it out has become I'm going to get it tattooed on myself somewhere because we'll figure it out it could be perceived as weakness. But I think for me, what it means is like, I'm in a place where I don't know and I'm comfortable with that. And now we just have to know, right? We just have to. I was thinking about this actually this morning. I was like, wow, like things aren't as hard as we really make them out to be. Like there's some shit that like open heart surgery is probably really fucking hard, right? But there's things that we automatically default as that's hard or that's difficult. And we downplay our ability to adapt and learn, right? Versus saying like giving yourself the space to give yourself the space and the grace to say, I don't know, and I will figure it out. So when you're presented with this, what is your navigation route?
So it's a great shout. I think that that's something that I take a lot of pride in the office culture we've created with Westchester Soccer Club. It can be very easy when you're presented with something that at its surface seems difficult and seems like it'll be a heavy lift to find every reason why it cannot work, right? And find every reason or honestly excuse as to why it can't work. What I've been challenging everybody to do and what everybody's been challenging each other to do is live in the mindset of whatever it is, we will make it happen. And it's very similar. And just understanding that we're in a unique position, right? We don't have a million different chains to go up to get approval on certain things. We are in a position where we are a resource to the community. We are the only pro soccer team in the area, the only pro team in the area, frankly. And when folks come to us to be a resource, we owe it to them to figure it out. So for me, it's understanding our role as stewards to the community and also recognizing, yes, we are a small team. Yes, we have limited resources. We are spread thin, but everybody that is in that room, in my opinion, is there for a reason, has earned their spot, and living with the attitude of whatever it is, we will make it happen, no matter what it takes. When you have everybody aligned with that mission and vision, I think you create an unstoppable force.
If you build it, he will come. The point is, don't lose your dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to culture, right? Like, what is the culture that you're actually creating and cultivating within the organization that allows people? I mean, we were talking about interns last time we met, but the idea of like allowing interns to have a say, to have an input, to offer their ideas versus like, hey, go get coffee and make these photocopies, right?
Right.
Like, and they may, right, very well come up with some amazing ideas or do some amazing things because it's just you're giving them the runway to tap into their potential.
Right. And that's what they've done. I mean, honestly, the beauty of our organization is we're small enough to a point where it does not matter your age. It doesn't matter your title. It doesn't matter who you report to or what you do. If you can execute on an idea that you have full freedom to do it. It doesn't matter if you're a C-suite executive. It doesn't matter if you're a part-time intern doing this for college credit. If you have an idea and you can run with it and you can execute it, you're in the space to get it done here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's led to a lot of our success is empowering people to do what they do, not caring about past experiences, resumes. We're not looking at people's grades coming out of college. We focus on your work ethic, your character, and what it is you're bringing to the table.
And where does that come from? Is that from like the top down?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, in my position, right? I mean, ownership trusted a 25-year-old kid to run the show on 2 departments for them. And I hope it panned out. I think it did. But I can't imagine any other professional sports organization that would allow myself or anybody else of my age to be doing something like that. And the other thing I'll tell you too that most people don't recognize, only one person in our entire front office had experience in professional soccer before this. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we had a couple people who've worked in pro sports, but only one with pro soccer experience. And to me, what that says is we're figuring it out. We are making it work, and we're learning quickly. So I'm excited because the fact of the matter is, year 0, as we're calling it, we learned so much. Yeah, we learned so much. We got a lot right. We got a lot wrong. And the pieces that we did get wrong, we're able to actually fix and make better going forward.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit to, growing up and stuff like that. Was this something that was in the household? Was it an entrepreneurial atmosphere, or was it kind of a different kind of mindset?
Different mindset. I think it was me and my mom growing up, and she always worked in nonprofit, and she loved what she did. She truly, I can say she still does it to this day. There was never a moment where her work was feeling like work to her. And that's what I took from her. I knew for a long time that I needed to be in a leadership position. I didn't know what that looked like. And I knew for a long time I wanted to work in sports. Also didn't know what that looked like.
Right.
So I think if you had asked me when I was far younger what I wanted to do when I was in the working world, I would have said marketing for a sports team, right? And didn't know what that looked like, but I would credit the culture that I'm building here, and I would credit my, I can't call it success yet, but my career thus far, I would credit that to leadership experience that I was afforded by my mom growing up. She put me in youth leadership programs. I was at a summer camp every summer that I alluded to earlier that really allowed me space to lead, and playing baseball. That was a big piece as well. You navigate interpersonal relationships, you navigate everybody's own egos, and being able to focus on all of those pieces while also seeing what my mom was doing growing up and truly loving what she did. When I found the ability to work in pro sports, and I credit that to UMass Amherst, the McCormick Department of Sport Management there.
Is that how you got in with the Washington?
It is. I credit my entire career path to that school. Genuinely. I had a speaker come into my intro to sport management class freshman year, and we had so many speakers come in, but this one guy's named Sam Barlow, very, very different. You could see the energy and hear the energy and passion in his voice when he was speaking. And he was the first person that really opened up my eyes to what a career in sports could look like. And what
was he doing?
He was, at the time, he was the inside sales manager for the Washington Wizards. And what he told me, and what he told the entire class, was, listen, sales gets a bad rep. Sales gets a bad rep. And people think of it as convincing people and swindling them out of their money, things like that. And what he said to us was, in sports, we're not selling a physical product. We're selling memories. Don't think of it as selling seats. Think back, and anyone that gets to listen to this, Vinny, what I would say, even for you too, is if you are a sports fan in the slightest, think about what that favorite sport is, and then think about your memories when it comes to that sport, right? For me, it's baseball, and amazing. And when I was growing up, the way my mom and I would truly spend our time together and bond was watching Red Sox games together on TV, right? We weren't going to the games. They were crazy expensive, and we would be watching them on TV together from the comfort of our own home, and that's how we would bond. And pretty much nightly, that's what I was looking forward to. I would get home from school, I would do my homework and make sure it was done in time that I could have dinner and then watch the Red Sox game with my mom. And I'd venture to guess that for the majority of people, when I ask them a similar question of when was the moment you fell in love with sports, there's a story that comes to mind most likely. And I'd venture to guess 99 times out of 100, it's not the outcome of the game that mattered. It was the people that you were with and the memories that are formed from when you were with them. That whole thought process and that philosophy was taught to me as an 18-year-old by Sam in the classroom. And that was enough for me to go up to him after class and say, we've had 8 guest speakers already. Nobody has opened my eyes like you did in the past 45 minutes. I'd love nothing more than to hop on a Zoom call, get to know you a bit better. And when I graduate in 4 years, I want to work for you. And he looked me right in the eyes. He thought I was insane. He laughed a little bit and goes, all right, man, like if you're serious, let's set up a monthly Zoom call. I want you to keep me appraised of everything you have going on. I want to keep you in the loop on everything I'm doing. And let's see where it goes. Next 3.5 years, that's exactly what we did. Wow. Yeah. He became a big mentor to me. I kept him in tune of everything I had going on campus. I took on some leadership roles, put on some events for the undergraduate department for sport. And by the time I graduated, it was honestly right before my senior year, he made a move to the then Washington football team. And it was when they were
in limbo stage of their name. Yeah.
Exactly right. And they in limbo stage of their name, but also in limbo stage of their business operations. So they had cleaned house and brought in an entire new senior leadership team. And Sam was brought from the Wizards to the Washington football team to essentially restart their ticket sales program. And I get a call from Sam over the summer. He goes, hey, your offer from the Wizards, it still stands. Nothing I can do about that. But I'm with Washington football now. Here's why you should come. We're building something special. Join me. And when I'm lucky enough now to be on the opposite end. I'm able to coach college students who are in a similar position that I was in a few years back, trying to decide where they want to start their career. What I tell them is follow the bright people. Don't go to the sexy name. Don't go to the team that's going and crushing it. Follow the best people, because when you have people in your corner that are truly caring about you more as a person than as an employee, they're going to vouch for your growth. They're going to help you get to where you want to be. And you know that when you're surrounding yourself with the right people, you're in the right place. So for me, it didn't matter where Sam was. I was going to work for him.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It worked out really well that I love the NFL and DC was an awesome place to live. And that worked out really well for me. So I was there for 2.5 years, loved it. I started as an entry-level sales rep, inside sales, making 100 cold calls a day. And I got off to a slow start. I mean, it was real tough for me at first to pick up the phone and ask somebody to spend their money on a 2-win team. I mean, it was the year that Carson Wentz was the quarterback. I think we won 1 game at home and maybe one other throughout the year. And selling a team like that is not easy, right? There's the ownership issue as well, where fans were saying, I'm not buying anything until Dan Snyder sells the organization. And in my head, I already knew it's happening, but they didn't know. I couldn't tell them yet.
Right.
So it really challenged me early on in my career to truly go back to the roots of why I did this in the first place, which is creating those memories for others and understanding that live sports is the last live thing there is. That's it. And being able to create those memories around the unknown. I always tell people, like, take your favorite team. If you knew they were going to win every single game, it would be fun for a few months. It'd be fun for a year. After a while, you'd stop watching.
Right.
You know what's going to happen. The beauty of sports is the pain, right?
Yeah.
It is, because the shared highs and the shared lows.
Yeah. I remember I was at the Aaron Boone game against the Red Sox.
Yep.
And I remember watching, I think it was Juan Gonzalez hitting a RBI double over Derek. No, it was an RBI single over Derek Jeter's head off of Mariano Rivera in the playoff. It was the World. It had to be the World Series. It was Arizona. And I remember that feeling. Like I was like, and those are two very, very extreme moments in sports, right? It's like the best closer of all time blowing the game and Aaron Boone hitting a walk-off home run in extra innings against the Red Sox to go to the World Series, right? It's like, whoa, like those are two but it gives you these polar experiences that just resonate inside that, man, like it does. You're selling these moments. And it's funny because you think about the moments on this professional level, right? It's like I'm talking about the highest level of it. But think about just Little League, right? Just playing Little League. Like how much I was enthralled by just those memories of the game, right? Or just going in my street and playing like wiffle ball, right? Like it's still tied to the game. It's just this very obviously amateur street level. But there's something to that it still plants its seed in you that when you get to that higher level and you're like, those are part of that same memory trail, right?
Absolutely.
So it's so interesting that you have that lens of it, that of saying like, we're selling memories. And that's such a good perspective. One thing when you were talking about your experience, I mean, you are like the quintessential success from college, because so many people go to college and it's like, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to focus on these things. And I would dare to say a good amount of people, I don't know the percentages, that are not in those lanes are kind of like, I'm just kind of figuring it out, right?
Absolutely.
Whereas you went in with seemingly some form of goal or passion, but connecting with mentors, finding people, like you said, that you're like, that's the person I could see myself being one day, is so important. And I think that if younger people understood, like, find the people that you want to be in life, not the people on Instagram, not the algorithm people, which is great. That's a good end goal perhaps for you, but find the people like just outside of where you are, right? And then to credit you to say at 18 years old or whatever age you were, I don't want to say the audacity, but yeah, dare I say the audacity to go up to someone and be like, hey, by the way, X, Y, and Z. Like I maybe now have that at 41, right? Like I have it at 41, but to follow that inclination is something that's so, dare I say, like kind of very unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems natural. Honestly, I'm always gonna stand up for myself and make sure everyone and anyone who's willing to hear it knows what I want to be doing. And it's funny, the other day I was at an event that our team owner invited me to. It was at the Westchester airport. It was a new jet airline unveiling some new planes. And the thought process was, let's get Ari in the room, see who he can meet. Maybe we find some new investors. Maybe we find some new sponsors. And there was somebody there who was speaking. His name's Chef Robert Irvine, who I knew of already.
Yeah, sure.
I had his protein bars in my house, and it's a big shout out to him. I mean, those are unbelievable. But he was speaking at the event because he was the one responsible for putting food on these private jets. So he was speaking. By sheer coincidence, luck of the draw here, the table that I sat down at ended up being the one he was sitting at. And he was only a few seats over from me. And when he was done speaking, like everyone was round of applause, standing ovation. Unbelievable. I think I was the only person that went up to him and asked for his contact information. And someone sitting next to me was like, started laughing. They're like, you're insane. But to me, it was like, of course I'm going to ask the guy in the room that I want to get to know for a follow-up. Absolutely. But I do that with everybody. I mean, you never know who you're going to meet. Doesn't matter what their title is, who they are, what they know. You never know. The other person sitting next to me, his daughter is in medical school looking for a clinical rotation right now in sports. And we ended up talking, and we're now in the final stages on the finish line of getting her clinical rotation with us, which she needs to graduate. So, I mean, on one hand, you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to talk to, but I think extending the arm is always the way to go.
Yeah, and that's sales, right? That's really is such in any sales capacity that you have, sales does teach you that you never know who you're talking to. And if you don't ask, right, closed mouths don't get fed. So it's either you're going to go home and you're like, why didn't I just fucking ask him? Like, why didn't I just ask him? Like, what's the worst? But that's the problem. The rejection is where so many people get caught up on, oh, if he says, no, I was like an asshole, I'm a failure, whatever internal narrative you start to tell yourself. But then there's also the other opportunity of like, what happens if he says yes? Like,
Right.
they're right now, both, it's a 50-50 outcome.
Exactly.
It truly is. Like, once you start walking towards them, like you may, you know what I mean? Like all that starts to go on in the internal dialogue and all that stuff. But from the jump, it's a 50-50 shot.
Exactly right.
So it's either you're going to go for it and go, I tried. It was no, all good, right? And you can't take that stuff personal, right? Rejection it is hard,
right?
But sales will callous you in almost no. I think everybody should do a year in sales, like out of college, because it teaches you just like this grit, this grind. It does callous your mind. It calluses like your soul in a sense, because you learn, all right, rejection is not the end of the world if you go again and again. And it becomes a numbers thing, right? After enough no's, there's going to be a yes. And then that yes opens up a totally new pathway to life, or potentially.
It's funny. It's a Sam Barlow thing that he told me. The guy that first hired me, got my start in sports. He knew I was a baseball guy. And when I was struggling with rejection at the beginning and really struggling at the beginning, what he said to me was, you play baseball. What does it mean to be great? What's a Hall of Fame batting average? Right. I was like, 350. He's like, okay, so if you succeed 3 times out of 10 in baseball, you're one of the best. I was like, yep. He's like, all right, same thing here.
That's it.
And that was the mindset shift I needed.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing to think about. But the ability for me anyway in my life for sports to just be a lesson of life, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a great metaphor. There are a lot of great things that you could pull from either sports or just that you bring into parallel to life. But sports definitely does have. I've since not been as active or visually engaged in sports, but now having kids, it kind of reintroduces you to it in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
My nephew's the bat boy for the Yankees, so that's another way that I'm like, I'm kind of involved in this in some way, shape, or form, right? And it is that childlike approach. You can't get, from my perspective, I can't get too tied up in it, right? But having this childlike approach to it, even like when I bring my kids to the games, right? They're just so excited to be there, and they met you, and like, oh, we have your autograph, Ari. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, don't I? You know what I mean? But they're so excited because it's all just like these new wonderful experiences, and they're offering me a reintroduction to that world, right? It's like, I think a big part of being an adult or someone who loses interest in sports is it's the old Bronx Tale quote, right? Mickey Mantle doesn't pay my bills, right? So it's so hard to invest emotionally, energetically into these athletes who are making all this money and all this, and you look back like, Mickey Mantle doesn't pay my bills, right? But when it's on this lower level, and you and I have spoken about like the players and, what they're going through and
Right.
different aspects, it's such a different thing. It's such a different thing.
And that's why I love this too. It's the players they're people, right? Like I was seeing a couple of them who just came in. Daniel just came in from Australia. Connor is local to the area, but they both came by the office yesterday because yesterday was the first day of medicals. We have guys coming in today, tomorrow. Practice starts next week. And the fact of the matter is, this is a space where I know these guys on a personal level. And to me, that makes what we're doing so much more special because I know that they truly care when the stands are packed. It matters. They want to feel the energy of the county around them. They want to know that they have support. And I don't want to say that the larger leagues, the players are taking it for granted, but the fact of the matter is, if it's a sellout every night, it's what you expect, right? And for us being just starting, they fully recognize, our players recognize and understand that people are coming out intentionally. And they are choosing to come out and watch these guys play. And they know it's not the best of the best. They know it's professional soccer, but they know it's not Premier League. And they're coming out and supporting regardless. And our guys are telling me point blank, it means the world to them. I'm never hearing that from the NFL guys.
Right.
So to me, it's beautiful to see how they truly feel and react and getting to know them as people and the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything that they struggle with. It's a big part of why we're working with you is understanding the mental aspect as well.
Yeah. How has football, having a passion football and having a passion for baseball, how is that? Because obviously there's sports and then there's individualized sports. So how has that kind of lend itself to where you are now with soccer? Because again, now we have the World Cup coming, so things are definitely shifting. But I'll put on an English Premier League game on a Sunday and just have it on as like household energy, right? Like I'm not really paying attention to it, but it's on. I'll pop in, look, and it has a vibe to it. Like soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, it has an energy to it that other sports, dare I say, like baseball has like old Americana, right? Like there's nostalgia to that for sure. Football has like this, maybe I'm stereotyping, but it has a different, like they all have their own individual energies to them, right? Soccer has this really unique energy to it, right? It's really unique. So how has being a baseball, fan, football fan, how's that brought into like soccer, which is kind of, it's almost like punk rock here in the States, at least.
Yeah, no, I hear you. For me, the beautiful thing about soccer and what I've learned, because to be frank with you, I started here around this time last year, a little bit before, in early January of 25. And when I joined, I frankly didn't know much about the U.S. soccer space. I watched, like you said, I watched Premier League games, but I'd be lying if I said I was tuning into MLS and USL games.
Right.
So what I ended up doing was I learned as quickly as I possibly could. Every USL and MLS game that I found that I was able to watch, I was watching. I was playing an obscene amount of FIFA, and then watching a lot of Ted Lasso just to learn the culture. Everyone in the soccer space is
That's the word, the soccer, like the fan culture.
Yeah.
Was it Wrexham, right? Is the other one that like there's something to that's like it's palatable. Like I don't think you get that in like minor league baseball, or like low level baseball or something like that.
I don't want to say I've put my finger on it entirely, but I have a theory. For me, the difference of soccer compared to every other sport that's mainstream in the U.S. is accessibility. And what I mean by that is baseball and football, if you plan on playing it at any sort of organized level, doesn't matter the level, if you're going to play it at an organized level, you need a lot of equipment. Baseball, you need your glove, you need a bat, maybe you need batting gloves, you need the pants for it, you need cleats. You need a ball for soccer. That's it. You need a ball. Nothing else. You can create goals with rocks on the street. You can create goals with sticks. You don't need cleats necessarily if you're playing on the street. The beauty of soccer and why it is so different and why I believe it is truly the world's game is because of the accessibility. It doesn't matter in soccer anyway, your economic standing. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you have a round object that can roll, you can play soccer. And to me, that's the difference, is everybody can play it. And to me anyway, if you can play it, you can become a fan of watching it. And that's why I think there's a massive difference. That said, to answer your question, what do I take from the baseball and football fandom that I've had? To me, fandom is fandom. And yes, there are the different sports, people attach to different aspects of different ones. But if you can become an avid fan of any team in any sport, you can become an avid fan of another team in another sport. To me, it is very similar. So when I'm talking to anybody in the soccer space now, or talking to a large-scale sponsor about why it makes sense to invest a lot of money into a pro soccer club, that's the avenue I'm taking. It's the world's game. Everybody plays it. We have a youth academy that's ages 9 through 17. We play in over 30 states across the country. And that's what we see everywhere. No matter where we go, soccer is being played. And if you drive around Westchester on a Saturday morning, I don't see an empty field.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a parent, I get it. Whatever it may be, there's a lot of hauling around on Saturday mornings.
There most definitely is.
A lot of it is. With the team, obviously last season, not the pinnacle of what you guys want. There were some significant changes that were made from last season to this season on a coaching staff level.
Yep.
How has that kind of affected the culture of everybody? Because you bring in new coaches, you bring in new personnel, all of a sudden people are like, right? Like that shift has a really big impact. So how is that, like, last season changing things into this season? Have you seen that affect either players or just kind of people in general?
So the first thing I'll say, we can only go up from last year.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
With the results on the pitch, not what we wanted, of course. That being said, what we as an overall organization and what we've heard from our fan base to understand is we have pieces. We do have pieces that we love. And bringing in a new coaching staff for us meant a reset. And it was a needed reset. And it was understanding that the strategies that were utilized last year, for whatever reason, didn't pan out, right? And we needed to go in a different direction to make sure that the pieces that we did have that we knew were amazing. Some of our players are so talented. All of them are. They're playing at the professional level. And a lot of these guys can do amazing, amazing things. So bringing in a new staff that is going to really redevelop what Westchester soccer is, what our play style looks like, and how we recruit and develop our talent, I think is going to be massive. So for me, I'm really excited about the folks that we've brought on board. George Yokai, for instance, in my opinion, just the best of the best when it comes to youth development in the area. And a lot of our strategy going forward is bringing on young players who have competed at the highest level of college to make that jump to pro at our tier. And we fully believe that they're going to be able to compete at the highest level and bring Westchester soccer to where we need it to be. And I'm saying need, not want, because there's a pinnacle year. It's very important because promotion and relegation for the USL is coming. We recognize that. When it does come, we want to be in a position that we know that we are going to be competing for promotion spots every single year. That's very important.
Explain promotion and relegation.
Absolutely. So in Europe, there is promotion and relegation. And what that means is there are different tiers in leagues, right? So the Premier League, that is Division 1 of pro soccer.
The Premier.
It's the best of the best. After that, there's the championship, right?
You learned this all playing FIFA.
Yes, 100%. I mean, where else? So there's different divisions. In the Premier League, if you finish in the bottom few spots, you are relegated to the championship. Teams that are playing in the championship, if they're in the first couple spots, they're promoted to the Premier League. And what that does is it means every match matters. Even when postseason is set, even when Champions League is set, every match matters because you are fighting. If you are in a lower tier, you're fighting to rise up to the next. And if you were in a higher division, you're fighting to keep your role. The U.S. has never had that. And the vast majority of soccer junkies that live in the U.S. that follow European soccer but stay away from American soccer, that is the reason they give, is that games don't matter at a point. Well, this isn't the world's game. And if we can bring promotion relegation to the U.S., the mirroring of what we can do with what makes this sport so beautiful will come here. So as of right now, in the USL, there are two divisions. There's USL League One, which is where we play. That's the third division of pro soccer in the U.S. Directly above USL League One is USL Championship, second division of pro soccer in the U.S. USL will be launching USL Premier, which will be another first division of soccer in the U.S. Between those three leagues, USL Premier, USL Championship, USL League One, there will be promotion and relegation throughout those leagues. So what that means for us is we have the opportunity to play our way up to the top. We're starting at the bottom, very much strategically so, because we need to build, right? And one of the aspects of being in Premier is market size, and we hit all of those benchmarks. And having your own stadium, as of right now, we don't have that, right? We play in Mount Vernon. We're at Memorial Field. It's a municipal stadium. Thankfully, the folks at Mount Vernon are amazing, fantastic partners to work with. And that said, it's not ours. As of right now, this second, we would not be able to play in USL Premier. That said, it doesn't exist yet, and that doesn't matter to us.
Right.
So right now, this second, all we are focused on is setting ourselves and the county up for being the best of the best in our current division where we are right now and riding the wave of the World Cup coming.
Right. And that's what we saw with the Wrexham thing, right? That was the same idea, is that climb. And I think it's so important that you talked about like this young growth, right? Because you do see it even at the highest level of teams where they could, pay the big bucks, hire the big guys, sign the big contracts. And then all of a sudden, this scrappy team that just pieces it together, they start playing either small ball, or I'm just using baseball in this particular case, but they start playing that scrappier kind of game. All of a sudden, like it's taking down the big machine in the sense, and people really get behind that idea, especially in sports. Like that's why it's like the Yankees are the evil empire, right? Because for so long, it was just buy. And as much as a Yankee fan, you kind of like that. There's also this part that's like, you're kind of, and it didn't even work sometimes. Like a lot of seasons, it doesn't even work because there is something else that you cannot put your finger on. And a lot of that does boil down to that camaraderie, right? What's going on behind the scenes. And when you're building that at the highest level, but at the lowest level at the same time, and you're bringing these people in farm league, right? All that stuff, it becomes a totally different synergy within the team.
Exactly right. I couldn't agree more. And we're very lucky. We do have the young guys, and then on the flip side, we also have some veterans that have been playing in the league for a while. Some amazing players. Like, I'll name a few. Connor McGlynn is unbelievable. Native New Yorker. He's an attacking midfielder. Fantastic player. One of the best midfielders in the league. Stephen Payne, one of the best defenders in the league. Josh Drack, same deal. And then Rashid Teta, one of the best center backs. So a bunch of returning players that we have that I am so excited about. Our Dutch contingent, I can't wait. Dean Guzen was one of the most technical players in the league last year. He comes back. And then Daniel and KB, awesome attackers. So with that combined with the young core, gosh, I'm so excited for what we can do on the field. So, I mean, March 7th, we're back. It's crazy how quick it's coming.
Yeah. And those games, I mean, I've been to a few of them. They have a real, like, again, it's just like, it's like I told you when I first walked in the stadium, the first game I went to, was like, oh, this is just waiting to explode. Like, and it's easy to say that, right? And I could just come to you and say lip service. Yeah, all right, this is way. But you really do feel like when you walk into the stadium and you feel it and like, oh, this is something. Like, it's not there yet. Like, we could all agree on that. But there's something that's percolating right now. Oh, yeah. And it's just like when that thing opens up, it's going to be a totally different experience for a lot of people.
It is. And that's everything that we're trying to do this offseason, is to add to that game day experience. Because I know more than anybody, it's not just about the product on the field, right? Yes, there are going to be your diehards that are there just for that. But there are also going to be others that treat this as this is their social outlet for the week.
Yeah.
Right? And it can turn into a Westchester block party with the Walters Food Truck, Taco Project, Graziella's, and then having our kid zone and the players, the way they interact with the fans. It's pretty amazing to see. So, yeah, I mean, it's building, and I agree with you. It's waiting to bubble over. I think it happens real soon this season, sooner than people think. We already have about 1,000 tickets sold to the home opener, which is crazy.
It's awesome
given the timing, but it's what that's telling me is people know.
Yeah.
And it's a slow build, but it's going.
Yeah, and that's a great point of it's so much more than just what's on there. And that goes for every sport, right? Like, and you could even like take that to the professional level where how many, you go to a Yankee game and yeah, okay, the product in the field's a very different caliber, but the food, the concession, the this, the that, it becomes, especially with food, right? The food thing, like I think LA was like one of the first teams, the Dodgers, to really start get sushi and all these different, like before it was just like, when we were going to games, it was hot dogs and yeah, exactly. But all of a sudden it was like this burger and that thing. And, Yankee Stadium has Christian Petroni with the garlic bread. And it's just like all these other parts of the game are now bleeding into like outside of the actual game itself.
Right. And that's actually something that I've been doing the past month. I launched a mascot design contest to Westchester County. And we essentially just said, we need a mascot here. And that was a big thing the league was pushing for us was, you guys need a mascot. It'll add to the game day experience. You can bring it out to your events. And we've been getting awesome designs in. So what we're going to end up doing is the front office as a whole is going to select a top 10 from the, oh my goodness, close to 100 submissions we got. And then from there, we're going to go to fan voting on social media.
That's smart.
And we're going to let the people choose. And I'm excited to see what they come up with, but that's going to be unveiled during one of the first home games live at Memorial Field. And when you're talking about just the actual fan engagement, the atmosphere, more than just the game, I think the mascot's going to be a big part of that, shooting the t-shirt cannon into the crowd.
Nothing better than a shooting a shirt.
Oh my God.
Boom, boom, boom. Those things are great.
I didn't realize I would be getting so tight with the fire station supply store, but to get the CO2 felt off, that's the place to do it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the more you know.
Good. We'll make notes in the bottom of the podcast. I'm thinking of like Rockland Boulders. I went to one of their games, and there was something about that because, again, it was like we didn't take my kids to a Yankee game at that point because like, we're going to go to Yankee Stadium. They're not going to last the whole game. Like, not really worth it, right? So we went to a Boulders game. The experience, are like, first off, you buy tickets. You walk in, like, here's 3 more tickets for free. You're like, oh, okay. To like a random Wednesday game, whatever. You're sitting behind the dugout.
Yep.
Right? It's my son's first baseball game. I think my daughter's first too, right? And there's a train. There is the mascot. We bought the hat. We bought the foam finger. Like, we're like, of course. So we go there. I got there late because I was leaving work. And my son's like, so we go to the stand. I come back. There's a group of parents and kids. I come back. My son's got the hat, the foam finger. There's got like a bunch of shit. Everyone's looking like, are you fucking serious? Now we all got to buy stuff for the kids. I was like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? I'm the fun dad. You guys can go scratch your ass, you know? But there is, again, to that point, there's good food. There's cornhole. There's just things going on. Oh, and by the way, we're at a game, right? Because it does become a bigger outing, right? Especially when you have kids, right? When you have kids, you're really picking and choosing what you want to take and spend your time at, right? Because it can't just, the kids are not going to sit down for the whole game. It's very hard. Like at any level, Yankee game, whatever game it is, it's very hard. So you do need to have these other things that are going on that are engaging, but still there's a game going on.
Right. I'll be real. It's much easier with soccer, I've realized. I didn't fully grasp this before I got here, but baseball, football, basketball, you're looking at a 3 to 4 hour game. Soccer, 2 hours max.
Right.
It's a 90-minute game, 15-minute half, give it a 15-minute buffer, call it a day. It's unreal.
Right.
So when we're talking to folks, we let them know, listen, our stadium opens an hour and a half before kickoff. 3 hours uninterrupted with your family. It's probably the most affordable in the county. Come on out, free parking, why not? So that's been our pitch to families, and they've been buying in. That's for sure.
You know, it's a great experience, especially bringing the kids. Like they have a blast, man. Like they have a great time. And again, I think you mentioned it earlier. It's like it's just that accessibility piece, right? It is just so much more intimate at this level, right? When you're in an NFL, and I've been to NFL games, you're sitting, you're kind of like, all right, you really can't see what's going on. You're like, yeah, all right, like you get it. But there's just this disconnect there. There's a real disconnect that when you get to this level, it's just so much more intimate and does make a bigger impact on like the family unit and just the consumer side of things.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that because that is quite literally what we're trying to build, the atmosphere we're trying to create. And for me, like at this point, NFL side, NBA, I'd probably rather watch at home. But for the more intimate sides, I was at a Rockland Boulders game myself, and it's a blast.
Yeah, it's just fun. I mean, look what the Savannah Bananas have done, right? Like,
unbelievable.
It's an unbelievable story, and they take something, and I didn't know. I was like, oh, like the Harlem Globetrotters. I was like, no, these are legitimate games. Yeah. They're real games. They're not fixed games. They're real. Like it's a legitimate game. It's just a lot of fun around it, and look what they've done and how they've. You can't even get tickets to them, right?
I give them so much credit. They have crushed it with what they're doing, with what they're building. Jesse Cole running the show over there. It's impressive.
Yeah. But it really does boil down to that outside the box thinking.
Yes.
Right?
Traditional doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Where does that come from for you? Like, where do you find inspiration and things like that?
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of people that would consider themselves soccer purists that would say to me, no shot, don't get a mascot. That's not soccer. Get that out of here. We don't need that. Or anything else along those lines. If we do we have our players come out of the tunnel and sign autographs after the game. And that's not technically the normal way to do it in soccer. But I think that's a bare necessity in my eyes, right? Like to your point, it's a lot more intimate. You can get a lot closer to the team. And in my eyes, just thinking a little bit outside of the box on what's considered normal, if we can break down some boundaries and do things differently in ways that are going to connect with our people and build out a fan base and build brand loyalty and build loyalty to this team, it's a no-brainer, right? So being able to do things like that are traditionally thought of as taboo in the soccer space, why not?
Yeah.
I've seen it work. Let's do it.
Yeah. Now you do, obviously, you take on a lot of roles and responsibilities in your day job, in the workspace.
Right.
What do you do to like decompress or get grounded back into what's important? Because it's easy to get caught up in work, right?
Sure.
It's easy to get wrapped up in this and that and all this stuff. So what is your outside of Westchester Soccer Club life look like? Like, are you meditating? Are you journaling? How do you reset?
I'm a big advocate for breathing exercises and meditation. Excuse me. It's a nightly routine for me. I think just for me personally, being able to reflect and just clear the mind at the end of the day is what does the trick for me. So that was something I started doing in college, and I've been doing it ever since daily. I don't think I've missed a day. But breathing exercises, meditation is really big for me. But then also, just to get real and vulnerable for a sec, at the end of this year, what I realized was I only got home once, and I missed some pretty large milestones for very close friends of mine. And that was tough to recognize. And what I realized was, okay, I might have been prioritizing some of the wrong things throughout the year. And yes, the work was beyond important. It would have gotten done regardless. So I think for me, it was recognizing that maybe there were some points where I need to reset, refocus, and make sure that no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm involved, no matter the scope of the work that I'm doing, that I'm still keeping everything important that has gotten me to where I am now. Because without the support of my family, without the support of the friends that are in my life, no shot I'm where I'm at now. So being able to keep them in my life and make sure that I'm being a great friend, great son, great grandson, that's really important to me as well. And then I would say the other piece too is just doing things that I truly enjoy. For me, I'm so blessed, man. Like work never feels like work. And it gets me to a point where when I'm not working on Westchester Soccer Club, I can work on another project of mine that I love, which is my sport management fraternity that I oversee nationwide. So for me, that's the secret sauce. It's every day I'm waking up and I'm genuinely fired up to get to the office or get to whatever it is I'm doing that day, because it's something I would do for free. The fact that I'm getting paid for this is nuts.
Welcome to Agora Social Club, the Westchester's hub for guys to gather, connect, and unwind. In the last 6 years, I've been facilitating a men's group called the Council of Dudes. And within that 6 years, I realized that guys need a place where they can get together, connect, and build community. A place that's not the gym, that's not jujitsu, that's not the bar, but a place where guys can come with no ego and grow and develop together. So here we have our chess table. We're gonna be having monthly chess lessons and our Take a Book, Leave a Book library. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't. Quantum physics to personal development to fiction. We also have our record player area. In the last few years, I've become very obsessed with jazz music. And if you don't know how to play vinyl, no big deal. It hooks up to your phone via Bluetooth. We have artwork from California to local artists. We have these small little work tables, so if you want to hang on the couch and get some work done, you can just come pop them open. And we also have our little workspace here with quotes from Muhammad Ali, Albert Einstein, Theodore Roosevelt. We also have our coffee bar, small fridge, and more quotes and artwork over the wall. Head on over to agorasocialclub.com, sign up for our free 7-day trial, and with that, you will get a key fob. Scan your key fob, and you have access to this space from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. So if you're a guy in the Westchester area and you're looking to gather, connect, and unwind with like-minded men, head on over to agorasocialclub.com.
Yeah, I've used that barometer I've spoken about before. That I had that kind of that barometer test for myself in the shower one day. And I was like, all right, you never become a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You never become Tony Robbins as a coach. You never become Joe Rogan as a podcaster. Do you still do it? And I'm like, yeah, of course. It's like, no brainer. Like, would you do it for free? Would you do this stuff that you're doing for free? If the answer is yes, okay, you're on seemingly the right track.
Right.
If it's no, that's okay. But if it's not the lane you want to be in, then you need to start exploring and trying and kind of looking at other things that kind of bring out that part of you
Right.
that makes you get fired up and excited. And unless you're trying different things, if you're only work and that's it, and no matter how much you love it, it could still become work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then on the flip side, my cat's awesome. So,
Dude, I have a cat. Fucking love my cat.
so I mean, stress relief. I mean, he's the man.
Yeah.
As you know.
I love my cat. I do want to talk about the sports management that you started up, the whole thing. So what does that look like? What is that?
So the idea stemmed from a need that I recognized needed filling. So freshman year, sport management classes at UMass, a professor said something to me that has stuck with me ever since. And what he said was,
A lot of things stick with you. You're good. Like you're like a sponge, dude. Like you're like these things. This stuck with me. That's like it's amazing.
yeah, I mean, when you're surrounded with good people, it's amazing what can happen.
Your antennas just like constantly picking up the frequency. It's
You have to
great.
be. And what he said was, in the sports world, to land your first job, it's not what you know. It's also not who you know. It's who knows you. And that piece was just ground into my head from a very young age in the college world. And what I realized was, in the classroom anyway, no one's making those intros at all, ever. It's you're learning amazing things, and don't get me wrong, what I've learned in the classroom was awesome.
You're saying in the classroom as in regards to like from a professional level.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. Like the courses that you are signing up for through the university website, they're not introducing you to folks.
Right.
So what I realized very quickly was you got to do that yourself. And some folks are going to go the extra mile. They're going to spend an hour a day on LinkedIn. They're going to do their research, send cold messages that are educated, and do a good job of making those introductions for themselves, and they'll follow through and great things happen. Fact of the matter is, though, there are a lot of folks that get slammed every day on LinkedIn, might not see the messages. It's tough to be able to do that. Like, yes, I'm saying like it's simple to do. Actually following through and being consistent with it puts you in the top 0.1%. So my thought process was, how do we aggregate all of the folks that are looking to do this, looking to break into sports, and get the most qualified folks in touch with the best programs and the best teams and the best organizations? And didn't really know what that would look like for a little while. It was a thought percolating in my mind. And then senior year, while at UMass Amherst, I was walking through the business school, and there was a large gathering, probably 200 kids, with a panel speaking to them. And I asked somebody in the back as I was walking through, like, hey, what is this? They go, this is Delta Sigma Pi. It's the business fraternity. It's for econ and finance students, and it's co-ed. It's for men and women, whoever wants. They can come here, be with like-minded individuals, and it's not a social fraternity. It's professional. There's no parties. It's no houses. It's people coming together pretty frequently. Great friendships are made, professional development, and then events like this a couple times a year where we bring in massive panelists and they get to hear from them. And the alumni network is amazing. People get jobs because of this. And as I was walking out, I was like, light bulb moment. This doesn't exist for sport management. And I'm thinking to myself over the next few weeks, this has to exist. It's got to be there. Given this industry and how much it matters, knowing people and people knowing you, it's got to be there. So I did all the research I could, didn't exist. So started putting together some documents, filing nonprofit paperwork with the IRS, and figuring out, okay, how can I actually make this a thing? How can I create this? And started to realize, like, okay, this has some promise. I brought it to a professor and was just looking for feedback. And what she says to me was, have you told anybody about this yet? I go,
Julie,
No. Why?
I go, no. Like, what do you think? She goes, keep it too close to your chest for now. Like, this is good. And if somebody else gets this with a lot more resources than you have as a 21-year-old kid right now, they're going to run with it. So, okay. All right. That's my first vote of confidence. And I took a major pause after that because I was starting my job with the Commanders, graduated, celebrated with my mom and grandma on a cruise to Bermuda. That was awesome. And then,
are you sitting like, please don't make this, please don't make this, please don't make this?
like, basically.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
And then I ended up starting over at the Commanders, got my feet under me. And whenever I had free, it was like an hour a week, I would put in some work on creating documents for this thing, like an organizational structure, what chapters would look like, what their executive boards would look like, what their leadership structure could be, events that they could do, fundraising opportunities for them. Every resource I could put together, I was. And then I started chatting with a friend at the Commanders who had started at the same time as me. He went to UNC Chapel Hill. We hit it off instantly, realized we were both entrepreneurial minded. He was the first partner I brought on board. And what he said was, let me handle communication with the chapters. Like you have your skill set. It's growing this thing. It's getting us in more places. It's brand partnerships. Let me manage the day to day. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great, man. Let's do this thing. So he comes on board very quickly, tells me he has a student at UNC ready to start a chapter. They have an executive board built out and they have a faculty advisor ready to rock. I go, all right, Logan, let's do this thing. So we launch at UNC in late.
And what a school. I mean, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, what a school to launch at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're launching at, whatever.
Right. And with the sports historical background.
Oh, forget it. Right.
I mean,
It doesn't get bigger than that.
No, it doesn't. So we had a faculty folks over there that were invested. We had students that were invested. And very quickly, what we realized was we got something here. Because a week of them being on campus it was late 2023 that they launched over there. A week being on campus, they had 40 people signed up to be members. And we didn't do any promotion, nothing. It was just, this exists now. Are you interested? Their chapter's now well over that. They're crushing on all fronts. But I mean, flash forward a year and a half later to where we are now, little bit farther along. We're at over 20 schools nationwide, 600 something members. There are close to 50 people that are in the industry that have graduated from it. And it's crazy to recognize what it's turned into. We've brought on a few more people. Rushi, he works on the website and all the tech side for us. There's a CRM system built in so that any student who becomes a member can see every single member of ours, both alumni, current students, and they can search by team, they can search by region, by league, and figure out, okay, if I'm looking to move to Chicago, okay, wait, we have 2 alumni that work at the Chicago Fire. We have somebody at the Bulls and somebody at the Cubs. Great. I can now reach out to 4 people in the industry within 3 teams. I have an instant line of communication with them. And to me, what I'm seeing with the cross collaboration is beautiful, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. So for me, it's at a point where it's somewhat self-sufficient. We have schools now reaching out to me saying, how do we start a chapter? I have students reaching out saying, how do I get this going at my school? I'm a high school senior. I want to go to this school and start a chapter. What does that look like? And it's wild to see the impact that it's had. It's honestly something that I'm incredibly proud of and what's been built. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
I think one of the beautiful things about that is also what you're charging, right?
Yeah. It's $10 per student per semester. That's it.
I mean, and there's an opportunity there where you could say, all right, here's the big get, right? And I'm sure that you would have, especially at those types of schools, if you're looking to go into like sport, like you're supported in some way, shape, or form by something, whatever it is, right? Whether it be your parents or there's something behind you that's giving you something that is of support. And it's very easily could be more than that. It could be $100, it could be $200. I'm sure that for what that will produce for people and what it does produce for people, you could put a bigger ticket number on it, right?
Absolutely.
But you keep it at such a respectable, just altruistic price point.
Yeah, it needs to be. I mean, I looked at the other professional fraternities and they're hovering around the $100 mark. And to me, it's a nonprofit. I mean, we don't need this. We need to cover insurance. We need to cover legal fees, and we need to keep the website up and running, and that's it. And besides for that, I mean, the fact is this is created out of passion. It's created out of a need. The money side couldn't care less. It's just, does this thing actually help folks? And is it growing to a point where we're building something special? So yeah, I mean, there were talks of what happens if we up it to this number We don't need to, so we're not going to.
Yeah, and it's that simple.
Yeah.
And again, so many things that, that are created in the world come from a place of your own need, right? Like it becomes this thing of like, this doesn't exist in the world. It should. You're sitting in one, right? Like if this thing doesn't exist in the world, it should. I know I needed it, right? Like I needed a space to have, men's groups and stuff like that. And this is before I even started the facility in the men's groups, but like before this existed, I was like, I need to find people to have these conversations with because these are things I'm struggling with, right? And you brought up this thing, the point of it's not who you know, it's not what you know, but it's both, right? And I've looked at that, and that's the age-old question. And to me, it's always been a ladder, right? Like I started to wrap my brain, like, what is it? You have to ask that question, and it becomes a ladder. Who you know teaches you what to know. What you know gets you around the new who you knows. The who you know teaches you more of what to know. And it becomes this constant ladder that's always, always growing and going up if you start to climb it.
I like that a lot. I've never heard that before, but I might be using that.
Yeah, please do. Please do. It's interesting because, again, it becomes, but it also, to your credit, it's like, I'm going to follow this thing.
Right.
I'm going to follow this thing. Like light bulb moment. How many people, there have been so many people that since opening Agora have come to me from all corners of this country. I've had the same idea. I thought the same thing. I want to do something like that. How could I find out more? But I've had, and it's not to pat myself on the back. It's like, but you need to take action on it.
Did it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you need to take action on it. And that's a totally different thing. You could think about that shit all day long in the shower. Right. And I've had those moments like, well, maybe, and you could think about that light bulb moment can go off and you can say, that's a good idea. And there's a great book in here somewhere. It's called Big Magic. Okay. It's about that same idea of these ideas. She compares to like wandering dogs, and they're looking to be creative. They're looking to manifest. They're looking for a home. And if you don't take action on it, that dog's leaving and going somewhere else. That idea is leaving and going somewhere else to find the person that's going to say, oh, I'll take you on. Right. And it's, I mean, I think in World War II, two sides of people are building the same thing on opposite ends of the world. Like all of these things are happening. And it's like the cultural zeitgeist, right? The collective unconsciousness that's saying like, this thing needs to be created. Are you going to be the one that creates it?
Right. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm seeing anyway on my end with Muse Sig and Westchester Soccer Club, it's actually come together for the first time.
Yeah.
I get to run our internship program with the soccer club. And I've had applicants come in my system where these students, I'll just level set here. They don't know me. They don't know that I'm behind the music side of things. They also don't know that I'm the hiring manager for Westchester Soccer. They don't know that I'm involved. They don't know who I am. And that's a good thing for now. But
they might now, but
they will. Right. Will. But when they're applying to the internship program, I see their applications. I'm going through everything. I've had multiple students and applicants where on their university experience at the top, it's their involvement with Music Melanda. And for me, that's telling, oh my goodness, we are doing something right here. So the fact of the matter is I'm going to be able to get to work with some of the members that are part of this thing that was a brainchild that didn't even exist a few years ago at this new club that I'm now at that didn't exist when this started. And to me, that is a beautiful thing.
That's crazy.
Isn't it wild?
That is kind of nuts. And we had a group here last night. We were talking a bit about the unknown, right? That constantly comes up, I think, and having this relationship with the unknown. And the unknown is endless possibility and horrible gut-wrenching fear.
Right.
Both of those things exist in the unknown, and it's where do you want to point your arrow? How do you want to line yourself up? And it's hard because it goes back and forth. It wax and wanes. It goes between those two worlds. But if you could have more towards the good, more towards the positive, more towards the untapped potential of the unknown, if you have just a sliver more than the fear, then you're out kicking the majority of most people.
100%. I couldn't agree more. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is, and it just takes that little bit of just, I'm going for this thing.
Mindset shift, right?
Yeah. Where did that mind shift come from for you? Like, is that just developed over time, or?
It's a good question. I don't fully know what to credit that to. I would say
Was there like a moment? Was there like a moment where you're like, all right, I got to start acting and thinking differently?
I think it's the control you can control, right? Yeah. And it's the understanding that things are going to happen around you. People are going to take actions that you might not agree with. Things may happen in the world that you don't believe are right. And there may be things going on around you in the workplace, in your family life, with friends that aren't going to go your way that you have no control over, right? And the acceptance of that, but understanding the thing you can control is your reaction, right?
Yeah.
And how you move forward and how you make sure that you're making the best of any situation. So for me, I think recognizing that at a relatively young age,
Yeah, I would say so.
was for me. For me, that was in high school. Is recognizing that and understanding that.
Was there like a catalyst of an event that made you kind of force yourself to think that way, or?
I think for me it was. I'll get a little vulnerable
Yeah, of
here. When my parents split.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, and when they split, it wasn't pretty, to say the least. It was a pretty ugly divorce. But with that, I was forced to deal with my own emotions and other people's emotions at a pretty young age. And I was like the 12, 13, 14 range. So from there, it was understanding, okay, I got to figure this out. And I had an amazing circle of people around me. Like, again, my mom, to her credit, amazing human, made sure that I was processing emotions in the right way. But what that led me to realize and understand for myself is control my own controllables and focus on what I myself know that I can do and bring to the table, and make sure that I am providing the best possible experiences and life for both myself, but everybody around me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a super impactful age,
It
right?
is.
In a weird way,
Yes.
not in like this conventional,
Yeah.
right?
Could have gone the wrong way.
I was going to say you do. I mean, you do hear that when parents separate, right? There's like again, and that's anything, right? There's these
The unknown.
the unknown, right? All these possibilities that could happen,
Right.
and to have that shift and lens, and I think you said the word, it was like having the right people around you,
Yes.
right? Like giving, and I mean, you hear the statistics of like men loneliness and depression, and then you hear like how boys need so much more emotional support than girls, and on a social level, cultural level, it's like, it's the opposite. It's like girls they're soft and they need the emotional support, and the boys need to just put on their bootstraps and get to work. And having a 6-year-old son, it's such a hard balance as a parent, right? It's such a weird balance because, am I softer with my daughter? 100%. I'm 100%. But I do recognize the importance of needing to be super gentle with my son.
Right.
Like I need to create this boy or this man one day that is very like, who's firm and strong and could, pull back his shoulders and get to work, but has a really soft spot in him. And he does. And like, he's a very sweet, kind kid when he is. And then he's a motherfucker when he's a motherfucker. Right. But that's part of it. But it's also like knowing that, the boys in our lives, the young men, they need that soft, tender hug and kiss. Like he's like, Dad, give me a hug. I'm like, yeah, dude, you got it. Like he sees me, like I was talking about last night in the group. I was like, over break when they were home, they saw me cry, I think, at every dinner, like every breakfast. And I'm just sitting there like crying. And I'm like, you're right. Like I'm so at peace, or whatever I was feeling was just coming through me, but they see it. Like the joke is like, is Dad gonna cry at Little Drummer Boy this Christmas? Like 100% Dad's gonna cry. It's the greatest Christmas song ever. But there is this tenderness that boys need. And kudos to your mom for recognizing and really giving you that emotional space to feel the emotions, because even as men, we're taught to just like suppress that shit and like keep it moving.
100%. Absolutely. And definitely lucky that I've gotten to where I am now. I credit upbringing and everything along the way, but I think learning emotional intelligence at a young age, that's going to be what gets people far.
Yeah. Yeah, because what's the old expression, like A students work for C students, right? Like having being very book smart, it's all well and good. And trust me, I get it. That's really important. But there's something about emotional intelligence and having people skills and those softer skills that you can't put that on paper.
I was definitely not an A student.
Yeah, no, me neither. Me neither. I was definitely not. But and those are important skills to recognize in somebody and then harness those, right? Like give it the fuel and the recognition and really put those on a pedestal just as much as we put academics, right? In our, whatever you believe on the school system is, like, that's not really happening, right? It's just like, here are the grades, got to pass the state test, got to do this, keep it moving, versus like, where's this child flowing? Where's the river flowing in this kid? And how do we like maximize that?
Right. Absolutely. And I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Agree more there.
It's wild, man. It's wild. Thank you so much for doing this.
Dude, my pleasure.
This is a great conversation. I'm so excited for everything that we've been talking about behind the scenes with the team and Agora, and a lot to come in the future. And I'm super stoked. And I've been working on this. As a man to a man, I'm proud of you. Like to hear, like men don't hear that enough. And I do think that when we see someone that we're proud of, we should step outside of like the 3D world and break the fourth wall and just like, I'm proud of you, man. Like, dude, you're like at that age, what you're doing is such an impressive thing. And it emanates from you. It just comes through and it's so genuine and authentic. And so much of what I try to bring here is bringing these people to light, right? Your journey. It's not easy. It's not always fun, but it's authentic. And if you could step into that authentic space, you will go so much further than just conforming to whatever the world tells you to conform to.
Yeah, man, I couldn't appreciate that more and the sentiment more. I mean, you're going to make me start crying here. But genuinely, the same to you. I would say what we said before, you got up and did it.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact of the matter is, we are in an Agora branded space right now. We're in the talks of everything to come. So, dude, I mean, if I can bring what I'm working on to the level that you're at right now, I'll have done something right.
I appreciate that.
I'm beyond proud and appreciative to be in the space with you, and just much love and appreciation for you, brother.
Thanks, dude. Where can people connect with you? Where can they find out more about the team? Where can they get tickets? Where can they show up?
Absolutely. Our home opener is March 7th. We are looking to break a Westchester County record for attendance. We're already at over 1,000, but we need about 3,000 more to hit the 4,000 mark to break that record of sporting event attendance in the county. Tickets are on sale. Go onto that website. Connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Ari Kwitkin-Close. I'm always available. Please reach out. Anything that I can do to be a resource, we want to help. And let's see everybody out there March 7th, 7 p.m. And let's make it happen.
Awesome. Ari, thank you so much, man. This was tremendous.
My pleasure, brother.
Thanks, buddy.